Hello, hello, hello. It's your coach, Carla Nicole. Welcome to the Wisdom Show. So glad you're here. Unfortunately, I had to do a pre recorded show today because I had another obligation to be to at our showtime, which is at 7 p.m. Eastern. But I did not want to not show up for the commitment to be here today. So, I'm so glad you're here. Again, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. My channel is Coaching Matters. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you get alerted every time I go live, every time I post a video. That way you don't miss anything, okay? So welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is the topic about intimacy in relationships and in love. So the challenge is a lot of times when we're in love affairs, especially with gentlemen, they're finding themselves kind of at the brink because they're trying to figure out why in the beginning their lover loved on them and made a lot of love to them, and then as time went on, the sexual energy and the intimacy plunged. So I'm going to give you the reasons why that's happening. Also, we're going to talk about how, this kind of challenges the relationship, challenges the intimacy, because, of course, having an intimate life, being together in that space really does help for each other to be the source of pleasure. And a lot of times we don't want to discuss the challenges when the lovemaking and all that just goes awry, or should I say is non-existent. They're actually sleeping in separate rooms, or there's absolutely no touching, no hugging, no kissing, nothing. And in the beginning, it was so different. So I want to talk about what is going on. Why is this happening? Well, first let me put you up on game with something, so you gentlemen can kind of understand. I say all the time that if you are wanting to be in a monogamous relationship or within a relationship that's one person and one partner, understand that your woman that you are in a relationship with is going to go through different evolutions, different changes, different challenges. And if you do not study about multiple partners and relationships and you don't know how they work, you're really going to be at a disadvantage because, unfortunately, most relationships, be it poly or mono, are going to go through their changes. But it's very important that you educate yourself, gentlemen, with how it is to deal with multiple women. The reason I'm saying this is because sometimes that woman that you're in awe with and love with in the beginning will evolve into a different woman. And it could be for various different reasons, and I'm going to give you those reasons here shortly. So first off, again, I want to welcome you. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, Coaching Matters. Make sure to share the content because that really helps for viewership for me. I appreciate it. So, shall we get started? I want to just say this. Intimacy is very, very important in love affairs. And we should not ever discount it as not important because it is. And I think it's imperative that we make sure that we talk about some of the challenges, but yet also talk about some of the benefits. So first, let's talk about the challenges with this. First off, you may be in a love affair where your lady is really into you in the beginning. And so you are under the assumption that once you got together, that was going to be her sexual drive or her sexual appetite from here on out. So unfortunately, a lot of gentlemen are under the wrong understanding that her intimate life or her intimacy desires won't fluctuate and change depending upon different times in her lifetime. If we start from the beginning, normally women are really driven sexually because they're in a desire to be with you, and they desire to be in that space sexually with you because they're seeing it as a way to reel you into wanting to be in a long-term relationship, normally marriage, but I'm not just going to include marriage because that may not be someone's desire. It could be to cohabitate, or it could be just to claim each other. There's different versions of why some women just want to get so excited about being with you intimately. So sometimes a woman can be so excited about being with you in that space that it appears her sexual hunger is going to be like this from this day forward. And unfortunately, things change, right? Relationships change, challenges come up, struggles, disagreements, misunderstandings, and I can go on, that will cause that desire to be with you in that space to kind of dwindle or disappear. Can't we just say that? So I want you to think about that, because I want you to hold that thought for just a moment so you understand that you're not alone, and a lot of times this happens for various different reasons. So one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about this was a lot of my male clients has kind of confided in me that they're dealing with a lot in their home where there's no intimacy whatsoever, and they're very sexually tormented with this, and they're just wanting me to kind of explain how do we get here. So the first thing I want to talk about is misunderstanding, or if not misunderstanding, it can also be a lover feeling like she's not appreciated, or she feels like she's been betrayed. Those three issues can really cause a woman to decide to decline to want to be intimate with you in that space because of what? Unforgiveness. She's feeling as though she no longer can trust you. She feels as though you're the source of her pain, so she doesn't see you any longer as your source of her pleasure. She now sees you as a pain, and she doesn't want to be in that space with you because she's gotten a discontent. She's gotten aggravated, agitated, and now that agitation has turned into unforgiveness, and she's not open to even getting with you in that intimate space now. So that's one of the reasons that a woman can definitely find herself not available to you in that way. And just to let you know, when a woman is unavailable sexually, it comes from a woman being like, I don't want to be intimate because I feel, that if I'm in that space with you, I'm giving myself away to you, and I'm giving you the green light that we're okay. And a lot of times, because of her own personal unforgiveness in her heart for things that maybe transpired, she can't wrap her mind around being sexual or intimate because she feels that that is going to justify the things that happened that she doesn't agree with. So this is one of the main reasons why most women will start to pull out being intimate. Secondly, another reason that a woman will stop wanting to be intimate is because of old past sexual trauma. So let me just say that when a woman has been entered into prior to when she becomes into her womanhood and desires to be, it really causes a war inside herself. It can cause a woman to feel like, she just lost all control. And if that happens, be it as a child, be it as a teen, be it as a grown woman, it really doesn't matter when it happens. But if it does happen and she is raped, molested, traumatized sexually in any way, unfortunately, if she does not get psychological help afterwards and goes through some type of coaching or therapy, or she doesn't get her womb healing, if she doesn't seek to understand that it wasn't her fault and all of these other issues going on, unfortunately, if it just gets pushed to the wayside as if it didn't happen, and she moves on with her life and doesn't deal or cope with the tragedy, what happens is, as your relation goes on and you become more and more frequent in your intimate life, you will notice that she'll start to want to either become very unavailable, starts to blame you for your hunger all the time. Is that all you want me for? Is a question that they'll ask. Or she'll be really frustrated with, that's all we seem to do, and can't you just hold me, and all of these things. That's normally because there has been a trauma that she's experienced sexually. Okay? And because she's had that sexual scenario happen to her, you are entering into that same space for you and her to enjoy and conjoin and merge. So because of that, that is a very painful experience if she has not done the work psychologically, emotionally, to help heal herself out of that. And so now she's allowing intimacy to happen, yet she's very, very, she's easily triggered by certain things you may do intimately. Just intimacy alone could cause for those old feelings to resurface. This is a challenge, and a lot of times there's an embarrassment. So there's not a lot of women that wants to openly discuss their intimate trauma that they went through as a young teen or child or woman. They just don't want to talk about it because that rehashes the feelings again. So I just want you to know that sometimes the intimacy falls short or goes awry, or you don't get any at all, because she has not dealt with the fact that she still has past trauma sexually from past events that happened to her as a child. And because of that, this is why it's pretty much no now. And it's very tough for a man because, you know, you're seeing her as your source of release. However, she's seeing you as her source to rehash those old past traumas and memories. So, and let me just say this, we don't know when or if those come back up, but what we do understand is if that does, it really takes a toll on you, because now you and she can't really enjoy each other in that space because there's a lot of old feelings, a lot of old hurts and past trauma, physical and emotional, that has happened. And so she doesn't really want to be intimate with you in that way because that's causing her to go back to those old feelings of trauma. Okay, so if you were really intimate in the beginning of your relationship, everything was fine. There is not any reason like infidelity or any type of thing that really is surrounding why all of a sudden there's a huge decline in sexual activity. I can 9 times out of 10 best believe there was some type of sexual trauma dealt with or not dealt with that is coming back up in the spirit or the soul of your lady. And so that's why a lot of times it is just so difficult to even bring it up, because it's hard to even for them to even talk about or get through. So this is another reason why it's always no now, because when you get into that space of intimacy, old feelings, old trauma comes back to life. with women, we have a tendency to really get excited about how we appear to you when we are in the scene, the love scene with you in the bedroom. And so our body image is hugely an issue for us in how we perform or how we feel during the intimacy. So I want to let you know that also it is tough for women to be more free in her intimate life with you when she has a lot of body image issues. And what I mean by body image issues, if she thinks there's too much here, too little there, not enough here, and she's constantly critical of her body image, then guess what? She's going to have a hard time being in her freedom in that love scene with you. And it's going to be very difficult to try to get her to loosen up, be more free, feel more confident. And here's the thing, it really doesn't matter how much you compliment or how much you praise her body or tell her how everything about her is amazing. It really doesn't matter. Unfortunately, it's what she says to herself. It's how she feels about her body that really impacts how she will be in that love scene with you. And understand that is something she has to work on from the inside out. She has to come to realize that her body image is not all that you see when you're intimate with her. However, most women can only see it from that point because so much is out here that criticizes the body of women. There's so much, criticism, critique saying that a woman has to have a certain breast size, a certain, size with her figure, waist size, all of this facial features, everything has to be of a certain criteria for a woman to be appreciated in her physical self. And so a lot of times a woman is challenged by this because she's trying to figure out, well, I have a body image, but I don't really like it. I don't like what I see in the mirror. I don't like this. I don't like that. And there's just like all this criticism that you may not be giving her, but she's giving herself. And then if she's in comparison of her body to someone else's body, or she sees that you might have an attraction for certain women or your past lovers, it doesn't even have to be a current woman that you're finding attractive. She can automatically start to assume, well, he loved redheads and I'm not even redhead, and he loved a woman that had this and had that, and I know because he was with her and all of this stuff, and I get it. However, a lot of times, even when you have these things going on in your relationship, you're confused because you don't understand why this is such an issue. Well, because on her inside of her body, she does not feel that she's beautiful. No matter how much you compliment, no matter how much you say she is, inside she doesn't feel it. This is another reason why a woman will say, I just don't want to be intimate. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling sexy, because sensuality goes hand to hand with sexuality. What I mean by that is when a woman feels she's sensual, then being sexual will just come natural. It's not a challenge because she just already feels like she's a sexy woman. And it doesn't matter. Sexy internally doesn't have anything to do with what she looks like physically. It has everything to do with how she loves herself internally. And be it as it may, unfortunately, a lot of times, gents, you don't know that. You don't know that everything you say and how you treat her and all that really doesn't matter. It comes down to how she sees herself in externally, and if she's okay with what she looks like, and if she has a strong confidence in her love of self. If she doesn't, unfortunately, this is going to help tank your intimate life. And this is going to be one of the major problems why she doesn't want to get down with the get down. And also, the last scenario that I want to talk about is there could be a decrease in intimacy because of a woman going through changes through childbirth and or menopause. And so these are physical changes that women go through that can cause her to want to be like, I'm not interested sexually. I don't even have an urge to be. Or they're just feeling, like I said earlier, they don't feel like they are attractive enough for you, or they're just not in a good headspace, period. And so a lot of times because of that, it causes a woman to feel uncomfortable with wanting to be in that space, in that intimate space with a man. And so it challenges you to try to figure out why. So I wanted to give you all those understandings, all those examples of how, unfortunately, lovemaking stops, or is on a very high decline, or the frequency is damn near null and void because of those reasons. Can those reasons be, reversed? Yes. So a woman can, and it is possible for a woman to reconnect back with her sensuality and reconnect back with her sex. It just depends on her willingness to admit to herself that she's not where she wants to be. Now that can include, I don't feel I'm where I need to be physically. I don't feel I'm where I need to be emotionally. I'm having challenges with being, okay, because I still have some past traumas that I haven't dealt with. All of these things are huge when it comes to the intimacy not being where it needs to be. So again, I want you guys to think about this. It can be fixed, but it's going to take her will to do it, and you and her sitting down and really coming up with a plan to reconnect. I always say, if there's ever any problems, let me just say this. If there's ever any problems in relationships, the first thing to go is sex. Always. Don't want to touch you. You irritate me. I don't want to be with you in that love space. I don't want to have a love scene with you because I'm not in a good headspace with you right now. And so to be intimate with you will be giving you the green light that what happened is okay. Well, let me just say this. When you stop intimacy, you stop having your connection. Your connection to each other is vitally important to keep the high vibration and high frequency of love within the two of you, to keep it steady and on beat and on course. But a lot of times we don't want to admit that we have not been really on top of making sure that our intimate life is where it needs to be. And I also always encourage my clients to do check-ins. Check in with each other. How do you feel about our intimate life? What do you feel when you're with me? Do you feel cared about? Ask some really powerful questions to each other. Off the record, don't make it a schedule. Just ask on a random, because feelings change, we change, everything changes in love affairs. So if we stay focused on what we don't know about each other, and then we constantly say, well, he never told me this and she never told me that, that's fine. But do understand that when you don't stay on top of each other's current self, you will find yourself always frustrated because you don't really know them. You only know the old version of them. We refresh, we change, we evolve daily. We're not the same as yesterday. We change all the time. So you want to make sure that you're checking in with your lover. See if your lover is good. Make sure that your lover wants to be in that space with you. And if so, great. But if not, find out why. You can always reach out to me with any questions regarding this. I do have a package right now called the Coach Me 19, which you get 30 minutes with me, and we can privately talk about what you have going on. And in that 19, I'm sorry, Coach 19 is $19 for 30 minutes with me. But in that 30 minutes, I can help you to come up with a plan to restore, really go back to restorative measures to improve your love life, your one-on-one with each other. It's just going to take some commitment. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of patience to make sure that you and she have, just a close understanding about what you both need in a relationship intimately and what you need with each other emotionally. It's important that you talk to each other so that you can figure that out. So again, if you need to get a hold of me, I'm Coach Carla Nicole. You can reach out to me at smileandsip.com, or you can call 844-5-WISDOM, extension 0. And you can book me for, like I said, just 30 minutes for $19. And that's just my promo rate for now to, encourage people to literally start looking at what they have going on rather than ignoring it like it's not happening. If you're going home to a cold bed every night, obviously you're having some issues in your home. You're having some challenges. And in order to fix it, you got to face it. It's just that simple. And in order to face it, it takes some time, but it also takes some truce. And it just takes a plan. Okay, and you can do that with me. Again, like I said, I'm your coach. Be sure to share this video. I appreciate everybody that came. We will see you next week on the Wisdom Show. I appreciate everybody. Thanks again. It's your coach, Carla Nicole. Best kept. Bye.